There could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer.
What happened in women's basketball just now will astound you. The new European contract that Caitlin Clark signed has the WNBA MVP, A'ja Wilson, in a rage.
Seems like she's probably going to make more money overseas in EuroLeague than she did during this WNBA.
It's not just any deal. It's a record-breaking offer that has everyone talking. What's so intriguing about it is Wilson's totally jealous reaction. Perhaps you're wondering, what's the big deal? However, Clark isn't merely earning more cash. The game is being altered by her. Wilson is not happy about what may be the start of a whole new era in women's basketball, let me tell you that. Let's talk about the real game changer now. The pay of Caitlin Clark in Europe. We are discussing not just any contract, but one that is breaking records and leaving people in the basketball community speechless.
It's not out of the norm for WNBA players to play during the regular season and then during their off-season play overseas. This is something that has been happening for like the entirety of the WNBA. It even went as far as to 1 year in 2015, Diana Taurasi played in Russia and did not play in the WNBA. And it was never outright stated that she didn't play in the WNBA because Russia basically put that in their contract, that if she went there, she couldn't play. But that was pretty much what everybody thought happened because Russia paid Diana Taurasi at that time $1.5 million salary to play in Russia.
You might be wondering just how much we're discussing here. But be prepared, you'll be shocked by the numbers. Clark will receive a higher salary than Diana Taurasi did when playing for Russia as a result of her European contract, making her the highest paid women's basketball player globally, not just in the WNBA.
And with players able to, make money off brand deals and this and that and their celebrity rising, there could be a world where more of these private-owned EuroLeague teams, I could see some of these teams going after some of our star players in the WNBA. And if the money makes sense, if the business aspect makes sense, we could lose more players to playing overseas.
This deal is not simply enormous and stratospheric, which is why A'ja Wilson is incensed. We are discussing a contract that treats WNBA pay like pennies. Could you picture yourself in her shoes right now, serving as the league's face and MVP, and then all of a sudden this youngster appears and begins making more money than you've ever seen?
The commissioner told her that she could make $700,000 playing in the WNBA through marketing this and that. I don't know what Kathy was talking about because even the highest paid player in the WNBA currently makes a little over $200,000 in salary. And then I don't know what the WNBA does with their marketing dollars, but it's definitely not going to equate to $700,000.
However, here's the catch. While everyone else is still getting caught up, it seems like Clark is playing a completely different game. She's not only getting paid more, either. This deal is revolutionizing the industry and establishing a new standard for the compensation of elite female basketball players.
Crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big Three. So the money is there, and if these owners are smart with it, I could definitely see more WNBA players going overseas and possibly not.
Now let's look at the figures. The league maximum salary is approximately $230,000, while the average WNBA salary is about $130,000. Clark might, however, make millions of dollars from her European arrangement. We are discussing a contract that may be 10 times the pay of WNBA MVP Wilson.
Caitlin Clark is starting to push A'ja Wilson for MVP of this league, and I am not exaggerating. She is starting to push A'ja.
The gap we're seeing here is astounding, isn't it? Wilson, who is at the peak of her career, is watching a rookie take over and fundamentally change the women's basketball industry's financial situation. She feels the heat, which is not surprising, but it goes beyond money. Everyone is being forced to think about how we value these athletes and their ability as a result of Clark's contract, which is bringing attention to the pay inequalities in women's basketball. It must feel like a kick in the face to athletes like Wilson, who have dominated the WNBA for years. Isn't this beneficial for women's basketball in general, one could wonder? And you would ultimately be right. However, for the time being, It's dividing the sport as Clark gains from her notoriety and skill while players like Wilson feel left behind despite their achievements.
Caitlin Clark, in a shock to me, has proven already to be a once-a-generation passer. I did not see that coming at Iowa. I thought scoring, yeah, she's the all-time greatest scorer in the history of college basketball, men's or women's, but passing like this, I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque bounce passing. I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque two-handed, full court, touchdown pass kind of passing, the likes of which I don't see in the WNBA.
I mean, an MVP ought to be above petty jealousy. Reconsider. Wilson's reaction to Caitlin Clark's contract is not only surprising, but it's also incredible that a top athlete like Wilson would be so terrified by a rookie's performance. Let's take a look at the unfolding scenario. You would expect that a top performer would feel at ease enough to brush off a newcomer's accomplishments, but Wilson's remark paints an entirely different picture. As the Golden Girl and MVP, Wilson has served as the WNBA spokesperson, but she is not happy about how Caitlin Clark has changed the game in such a short period of time. We're talking about more than just the occasional caustic comment. Wilson is having a complete breakdown. She has been tweeting passive-aggressively more often than she is making ugly jokes about Clark's achievements and saying absurd things in interviews. Things start to get extremely interesting at this point. It's similar to seeing a boxing champion lose it because a novice is getting more attention. Wilson's anger isn't limited to the money. Seeing Clark possibly earn millions of dollars while she just gets a small share must be painful. But there's more going on here. It has to do with legacy, status, and who gets to play women's basketball. You know, Wilson has carried the WNBA on her shoulders and put forth a great deal of effort to reach this position in her career. She is currently witnessing this collegiate phenomena take center stage. When the understudy enters and gets a standing ovation on their first night, can you imagine what it must be like to be the show's star for years? Why does AAL Wilson feel so strongly about the new contract that Caitlin Clark has? It's not all about the cash. It concerns the meaning of that money. It's because she feels like the new child on the block is overshadowing all of her efforts and accomplishments. It's about the worry that she might not be the indispensable celebrity she thought she was. It concerns the old guard's perception of the new as a threat. It's about the hard fact that there's always someone younger and hungry coming up behind you in athletics, just like in life.
Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000.
But this is the point at which chaos ensues. Clark is not only stealing the show, but she is also fundamentally altering the way that fans of women's basketball engage with the game. You might be surprised by the truth. What could make a rookie so formidable that MVPs are taking notice?
I saw for the first time that they had a chartered plane. For the first time in their league history, they flew private. That should be celebrated in its own right. From anyone that's, in sports that's flown commercial or flown, charter, that should be celebrated. And it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA.
Let's look at how women's basketball is evolving as a result of Clark's fame. Perhaps you're wondering if Clark is actually that important. The WNBA's biggest star is sweating because of the statistics, which don't lie. We are discussing a significant shift in the women's basketball industry. Clark's impact is not limited to the court. Additionally, it can be seen on TV, in retail establishments, and in the stands. Attendance at the WNBA increased by a staggering 50% this year. And you know who's at the forefront? The number of spectators attending games for Clark's team, the Indiana Fever, increased by 39%. Additionally, we taught a 50% drop just after Clark was eliminated.
There has been so much discussion about the discrepancy between the WNBA salary and the NBA salary because, as we all know, NBA players make millions and millions.
But it doesn't stop there. It's going off the shelf faster than you can say, three-pointer, the Clark jersey. In addition to controlling the sales charts, she is advocating for improved terms for all parties involved, such as travel on charter jets. Yes, exactly. She is not only playing the game, she is also altering the way the league as a whole operates. Can you picture yourself being AIA Wilson, the league's MVP and face, and then having this rookie start pitching you merchandise? Hold on tight, because Clark's impact extends well beyond jersey sales and ticket sales.
For you, when we look at the numbers and when we look at what the WNBA has earned over the past years and the entirety of the WNBA, the numbers actually make sense. It's actually not that unfair what the players are paid. Now, that might all change because of this season, but in the past, the only on record revenue that I could find of the WNBA is $60 million.
But as Clark becomes more well known, others are feeling the heat. Consider AEIA. Wilson watching from the sidelines as this child assumes the lead. How is Clark's notoriety affecting Wilson's career? Not everyone is pleased with the way women's basketball is developing. Sharing the attention is no longer the only goal. It has to do with possibly losing your position as the sports spokesperson. Clark is not merely a player. She is a sensation who is forcing the league to adapt for more seasoned players like Wilson, drawing in new fans, and maintaining the status quo. Your days might be coming to an end if you were MVP because you were invincible. Wilson's hegemony is endangered due to more than just Clark's skill on the court. The number that matters most to the WNBA is far higher than any MVP honor. In addition to affecting specific players, Clark's European contract is also having a significant impact on the WNBA as a whole. The league is at a crossroads and caught between two different points of view. There is the thrill of Clark's celebrity attracting new admirers and attention, on the one hand. On the other hand, there is concern that their top players would sign contracts abroad.
Off-season. But with all of the drama currently surrounding the WNBA, on top of the low-paying salaries, some of these players are questioning if they'll even...
You would think that the WNBA would be thrilled by all of this excitement, but they have responded in a really complicated way. It's similar to looking at a deer in headlights. The league is still split on whether to embrace this new era, even though they know they should relocate. Clark is maintaining the status quo and bringing in the past.
Caitlin Clark continues to set the bar when it comes to her impact on female athletics. She's got one of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all, according to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey is apparently sold out in all sizes. It was rumored that she actually outsold Dallas Cowboy jersey.
What would happen if more players decided to emulate Clark? Consider a WNBA in which half of the All-Stars spend the most of the season playing in Europe. That would be equivalent to the top player in the NBA playing for just a few months every summer. For European teams, the league might turn into a glorified summer camp.